And our top story this hour, tributes are continuing to pour in for veteran broadcaster Xolani Gwala, who lost his battle with stage 4 colon cancer aged 44.
Gwala has been described as a gentleman and great broadcaster who was dedicated to his work. Gwala has been in the media industry for over 2 decades and started his career at the SABC's Durban-based Ukhozi FM and Lotus FM.
He also presented SABC television program Asikhulume and hosted other radio shows including AM Live on SAFM. In August of last year, Gwala spoke to the SABC about his battle with cancer.
It was fever, so I went back and forth to the doctors trying to check what was going on. And the doctors kept saying, it's just a viral infection, the virus is around. Until my wife said, listen, I'm going to take you to hospital now. We went to Morningside. It was a Sunday. And when we got there, they put us in isolation. They were like, temperature is about 40, what's wrong with you? And the following day, then they started doing tests. The whole day, in the evening on Monday, the doctor came to my ward and said, listen, I don't even know where to start. And the reason why I don't know where to start is because you are so young. I was 42 then. But unfortunately, I've got to tell you that you've got cancer. And it's not just cancer, it has spread to other parts of your body as well, so it's advanced. The one thing that I think I've learned is just to be grateful. I'm grateful for every day that I have, because you just never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Grateful for family, grateful for friends. Don't worry about what happens next, just be grateful for the now. And I think that's just the most amazing lesson. Just be grateful that you are here in South Africa. Be grateful that you have medical aid. You are able to come here and do the things. Be grateful that you have the doctors that you had. You have the family that you have. The lesson is that be grateful.
Our reporter Simpiwe Makanya visited Gwala's hometown of Impendle in KwaZulu-Natal.
Thank you very much. We are coming to you from Impendle. This is the rural community of Impendle where the former or the late veteran broadcaster Mr. Xolani Gwala was born and bred. We have been since early this morning interacting with various community members from here who have described him as a people's person, as a person who was very jovial, as a person who liked to be amongst community members in this part of the country. We did also have an opportunity to speak to his family, who basically they informed us that at this very moment they are unable to communicate with the media, as the father of the late veteran broadcaster Mr. Xolani Gwala has not been officially informed about his untimely passing. So they requested us to respect their privacy. They will have a meeting later on where they will then be able to have an official comment. But with me I've got a couple of community members who know Xolani Gwala, who knew Mr. Gwala. Babu Uzoma, thank you very much for your time. Perhaps wena baba umaze umuntu onjani umphephetho nanokuthi indaba zakhe zokudlula emhlabeni uzamukela njani?
Ngizamukela kabuhlungu kakhulu njengoba manje sidlula emhlabeni kanti ubephila ephilela umphakathi. Sonke ngemakade kukhona ngisho umcimbi kubo ubesiphakamela sibe sijabule kakhulu. Njobe sihambile nje sihlupheka kakhulu thina somphakathi, sizahlupheka kakhulu sikhala nabazali bakhe.
Mr. Zuma, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
All right, there was the sentiment here from Mr. Zuma, who says that Xolani Gwala was a people's person. He liked being around different community members in this part of the province. Nawa sikubingelele mazondi mazoma sikubingelele sikwamukele endabeni bese siyakubuza ukuthi mhlasimbe ubaba uGwala iliphi iqhaza abedlala emphakathini wena obumazela lona?
Ayube neqhaza ngempela uXolani ngoba bekwazi ukuphakamisa lapha emsebenzini bephakamisa indaba sempendle kanovuka njengoba kuvele le sehlakalo ke sanamhlanje shayeke sonke sihlungu ngoba uXolani ekhula kwakhe emncane bekumntwana othobile ozazela ukucula nje wazobe wafika ngomunye unyaka ezothuthukisa indawo yangakubo efika nomlungu angazi ngomlungu noba bahambisana naye nomkakhe ezothuthukisa isikole sangakube balethele izincwadi zesikolo azisho ngamagama ke thina sizazi wathi nabanye boshiyela abanye nabanye boshiyela abanye sihlungu ngempela ngoXolani sihlungu bandla nxeseni bantu bakaGwala nxeseni nomphakathi wakanovuka nowasegoli ngiyabonga
masiyabonga isikhathi sakho. Siyabonga. Well, she's basically saying that he was a good example even to the community members here, the youth. He was a jovial person, a people's person, and a person who actually liked being amongst various people. Ma asikubingelele nawo masikwamukele indabeni ikuphi okukhumbulayo ngobaba uGwala?
Yebo sawubona mntanami nguFlorence Zondi. Ngidabukile kabuhlungu kabi ngivuka ekseni angizwanga lutho ngoXolani Gwala. Bengisempendle ngizwa kuthiwa uXolani ushiyile. uXolani kade salinde ukuthokoza ukufana nesike sakuthokoza. Uke wafika eminyakeni edlule ukhona incwadi asilethele zona esikoleni emasimdumise ezizofunda izingane zethu sajabula sawumhlola sabonga sithi ayinkosi yami kwaze kwabhlungu nina bakaGwala ngoba besilindele ukuthi empilweni yakhe angathi kuzoba kuhle njalo okokuba mhlambe khona futhi okukhula sazosilethela khona. Siyaxolisa Nkosi yami enkosini.
Well, basically echoing the same sentiments there, saying that recently he had organized a function where he brought different books to community members here to encourage them to read, because you would understand that he was a man who actually liked reading, as a man who liked doing research on different topics. Ma nawe singakuvalela ngaphandle sikwamukele indabeni bese siyakubuza ukuthi wena ubaba uGwala uzomkhumbula njengomuntu onjani?
Anginibingelele bantu abami. Ngiyubingeleleke nomndeni wakaGwala kuhlele bunzimeni. Ngiyamkhumbula lo mntwana Xolani. Engimkhumbula ngako kokuqala. Ngimkhumbula ezokwenza ubuhle esikoleni ekuthiwa iMasimdumise. Esiphathela amaWonderberg singawazi. Ukudla kwethu kuhlale kukahle, kuhlale ukudla kwethu kufudumele. Sithe emndenini wakaGwala kwehlanga olungehliyo. uNkulunkulu yapha uNkulunkulu athathe. Sibhlungu kakhulu. Ngiyakhumbula sise eMaritzburg siyoshekwa izibeletho zethu nako konke kwethu ejabula ukuthi uzwa kuthiwa khona abantu base empendle endaweni yakwana uvuka asiphakame kakhulu sisheke ngempilo yethu. Ngithi inkosi ayimuphe ukuphumula umphumulela wafuthi nokukhanya kwaphakade kumkhanyele aphumule ngobuhle. Dudu umndeni wakaGwala ibandla elikatholika likhathazekile kakhulu ngendlela eyisimanga. uXolani ube isibonele kubantu abasha efuna imfundo iqhubeke iye phambili. Hamba kahle mfana wethu, hamba kahle mphephethu. Sohlala sikukhumbula njalo. Amen.
Thank you very much. Basically saying that Mr. Gwala was a shining light in this community. He played various roles. He even encouraged the youth from this particular community of Impendle to read because he was very committed when it comes to that aspect of life. She also rather mentioned that throughout the years, I mean, you would recall that ever since he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, he has been an activist. He has been trying to educate people about this disease, which unfortunately claimed his life at the age of 44. The family that we spoke earlier on said that they are not going to be commenting on record or to the media at the moment. They will have then a family meeting where all the community members or family members rather will then be officially informed about what has happened and also the way forward. It's back to you in Journalistic for now.
The SABC says that Xolani Gwala will be remembered for his enthusiastic engagements that captivated audiences and stimulated public debate.
It's a very sad moment for South African journalism. Xolani is one of those journalists that if you would have a conversation with him, you would find a person who's well-grounded, a person who was unassuming, a consummate professional, and a person who was just for what journalism stands for. And at a point, I mean, as this happens, we're experiencing a new trend of celebrity journalism where people think that the stories are about themselves and that everything that they do is about themselves. It's a sad loss.
We'll remember Xolani for just being a straightforward human being, beyond the journalism, beyond the professional work. He was just one special good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. and it is a loss.
Sad news coming in this morning. Just want to pass my condolences to Gwala and his family. I say may his soul rest in peace.
Meanwhile, the chairperson of the South African National Editors Forum, SANEF, Mahlasi, says Gwala's death is a tremendous loss to the journalism fraternity.
It's a really sad day for the Prime Media family, 702 EWN, but as you say, the SABC as well, where his career started. And coincidentally, Xolani and I started working in the Johannesburg office around about the same time when he came from KZN. But it's also a sad day for all of South Africa. Just listening there to Xolani, he truly loved his country. He understood the power of the mic. He understood that being behind that mic, it was an opportunity to hold those in authority to account, but also to allow South Africans to have a conversation, and that him being behind the mic was part and parcel of building on that democracy, especially as we were in the early days, as we were building up on that democracy. And Xolani every single day saw his role in the bigger picture. It wasn't just about him being behind the mic, but it was always around how do we make South Africa better.
All right, so we continue to reflect on the life of Xolani Gwala. We have now in studio with us Krivani Pillay, who used to co-host with Xolani on SAFM. Good afternoon to you, Krivani. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Pillay, sir.
What a sad day it is to South Africa.
Absolutely. It's a loss to our industry, it's a loss to the country, and a massive loss to his family.
And I was saying to you earlier on that we knew that this moment would come. But this morning, when I heard the family spokesperson on radio announcing his death, it hit hard. I suppose this shows that Xolani was not just anybody, but he was somebody who contributed so much to South Africa as it is.
100%. Xolani was a true patriot. He was completely in love with South Africa. I met him about 15 years ago. He was on Ukhozi FM, I was on Lotus FM, and our studios were next to each other. So we just got to know each other there. And our paths crossed again here in Johannesburg, mid-2000s, when we co-hosted PM Live on SAFM. And I was very nervous because already by that time he was this hero, he was this legend of broadcasting, and here was the small fry coming from Durban. But he was such a gentleman, and I used to shy away from the big stories, business stories and the politics stories. And he said, Kriv, no, you're bigger than this. You can do the stories. I know you can. And the one day, do you know what he did? He said, I've got to go to the loo now. The next story is yours. And I said, but the next story is the ANC. And he says, well, you're going to do it. But he didn't go to the loo. He just went round the corner and he listened to my interview with the ANC. And he came back and he said, never again am I going to listen to you that you are unable to do an interview. And that was it. He used to build me up in studio. If I was lacking in some way in the interview, he'd write questions on a piece of paper and pass it on to me. He really took care of me, and he built my confidence as an anchor. But he was just plain, fantastic human being. If I went to KZN, I mean, we love our province, KZN, and we bonded over that. And if I went to KZN, he'd ask after my mum and dad. When I was diagnosed with diabetes, his dad was diagnosed with diabetes, and he would bring all this information to me about a change in diet. And as a journalist, Palesa, we'll never see that quality of preparation again. He'd be here hours before the show. He'd scan the newspapers. He'd listen to other media about the stories. He'd change the angle. If we had prepped in a certain way, he'd say, no, this is changed. He was just really a grounded journalist, passionate about his craft, and somebody who's really left not only a mark in my career and life, but across the country.
That's what many people have been saying, his colleagues saying that he was such a great mentor. And I suppose that speaks volume to us as to why he's been explained as a great broadcaster.
Absolutely. Well, besides that booming voice,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a powerful voice.
Captivating.
He had a very interesting way of drawing information from a newsmaker without the newsmaker sometimes realizing that they've been captivated by the Gwala spirit, I'd like to call it. and he would subtly draw out that information. And that's what I loved, you know, listening and watching about him.
And he did that quite politely.
Yes.
He was very calm.
Respectful.
He didn't have to be arrogant when asking questions, but he would still get his answers. He would still hold those in power to account to whatever that the topic was.
And do you know what? They respected him more for that. He was famously called by his clan name Perpetua on our show. And even the ministers would call good morning or good afternoon in Perpetua. And so I used to ask him about this and about did you belong to the royal family? And they lied to me for so long. So the one day I came to the office and I was like, Ndabezita. And they're like, no, Kriv, no. And we just used to have he brought team spirit to PM Live and SAFM.
Indeed.
And all of us at SAFM, my former colleagues, we really are feeling the loss today. He just took the job so seriously. But he respected each and every one, whether you were the CEO of the SABC or the janitor at the SABC. He gave you time, he gave you respect, and he gave you genuine love.
And there was just something about his smile. There was something about his laughter, because when I was still at the City FM, we would bump into each other during special broadcasts, during outside broadcasts as well. And he was just an incredible person, very friendly, loving, and when he starts laughing, everyone else would laugh.
And do you know, we used to start laughing on air sometimes.
I know.
and we would not be able to control ourselves. And it usually happened on a Friday, because we would have this fun segment with music, and he would challenge our team producers about the PSL and Kaizer Chiefs versus Orlando Pirates. And the moment we start giggling, and it was very high-pitched, and he wouldn't be able to stop. And the moment we start giggling, even our listeners would start like writing in to say, you guys, thank you for easing me into the weekend.
Yeah, no, that was Xolani Gwala for you. But how do we ensure that his legacy lives on? And young generations, us, what do we take how do you take away from Xolani?
When I sit and reflect on Xolani, there are two big things that stand out for me. The most recent is his very brave fight with cancer. There still is a stigma attached to cancer, and Xolani did his very best, despite being tired and despite being ill, to speak out about it. And the second thing I'm going to miss about him, and I hope that this is his legacy, that my colleagues and people entering the industry will remember. He was a consummate professional, and the way he prepped for journalism stories and interviews is something we must all keep with us. He often told me that if you are armed with the fact, nothing can happen to you. But you must be clear and sure, and you must dig, never accept things for how they are. And for me, that would be his legacy. And Palesa, he loved his family.
He did.
In fact, I've never met his family, but I feel like I knew them because of the way he spoke about them. And before coming to me, you went to a segment in KwaZulu-Natal. He loved home. He loved his mom and dad, his siblings. And my heart really goes out to the entire Gwala family. And I want to, on behalf of myself and my family, send out our very heartfelt condolences.
Yes, indeed. So, your fond memories. We've spoken about your co-hosting of PM Live. I used to listen to you guys, by the way. But like your fondest memory of Xolani Gwala, working with him on SAFM, share with us those.
Okay, so you know the board game 30 Seconds? So at PM Live, we used to do team building sessions. And every month, someone would take a turn to host. So it was my turn to host, and I brought out the board game 30 Seconds. And it was the South African booster pack. So the answer of the card was Xolani Gwala. His name was the answer. And it was the weirdest thing, because he sat there and he says, "Who am I?" And we were like, a man, a black man, a big man.
Yeah.
And he says,
no, who am I?
What is my name? And we're like, Xolani, what is my full name? And it just went on, and we couldn't actually believe that the 30-second card had his name as one of the answers. And we just laughed about it that night. And I really loved the way he would eat. He would eat like a fitness fanatic. A big side of salad, and his favorite was fish, and very healthy food. Obviously, he'd cheat sometimes, but every time we had, he would be like, Quiv, are you and your husband going to make the baked fish? Yes, Xolani, we're going to. Every now and again, I'd get messages. During our SABC 8 days, he would send me messages just motivating me and encouraging me. I'm really going to miss him. Yeah.
I suppose all we left with is our memories of Xolani Gwala. Krivani, thank you so much for coming through. Krivani Pillay, she co-hosted PM Live on SAFM with the late Xolani Gwala, sharing with us her memories of Xolani and, of course, when they were co-hosting, telling us a bit as to what happened in studio. All right, we're taking a quick break here on your story, your essay today. I beg your pardon, and more still to come.